so you've got two receivers committed. You got Ray Joseph out of Miami Edison, who I think is going to be the best receiver on campus the minute he steps foot here in a couple weeks. And the other one, Robby Washington, who's not totally dissimilar to Ray Joseph, a little bit maybe bigger, a little bit, maybe can project as more of an outside receiver, where Ray will probably, I got to think, be a slot guy. But Stephen, I'll start with you, since you and I were talking about this earlier. Miami still needs a number one receiver, a bigger, faster guy that can spread the field and just create a top end option for the quarterbacks. Don't the Canes?
Yeah, and whenever we were, kind of going back and forth on, how good this receiving core is or isn't, the knock that I had on Miami's receiving group that they're getting in this recruiting class is they did bring in really good talent with Ray Joseph, Robby Washington. I think you're definitely right. I think that Ray Joseph is going to be the best receiver on campus whenever he steps foot on campus, but that's not necessarily what Miami really, really needs. What they really they need a big number one guy. They need a big downhill threat. And I think Ray Joseph is really good in the slot. And you're looking at these highlights here, he just burns people. He completely burns people. Really, really good speed, really good in the quick game. I think there's a lot of different stuff that they can do with him. I think that, you might even see him getting the ball handed to him in maybe some jet sweep situations, trying to really just find different ways to get this guy the football, because I do think that he's one of these kind of special talents where whenever you really need something to happen, you just sit down and think, all right, how can we get this guy the ball? Let's call something up that's going to get him a quick touch and maybe try to get him in some open space. But neither him nor Robby Washington are really that big physical perimeter outside threat that you really want to go up against a smaller receiver and win these one-on-one matchups. Not saying that these Ray Joseph and Robby Washington, aren't capable of winning these one-on-one matchups with cornerbacks, but there's a little bit of a size discrepancy. Both guys are under 6 foot. And both guys, they're really, really skilled with the ball in their hands, but straight up manhandling opposing corners is not necessarily their strength. And I keep on saying this. I do think Ray Joseph is going to be the best receiver on campus whenever he steps onto the field. And you look at all the different ways that they can use him. I mean, heck, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up using this guy on special teams. He really is one of those dudes where it's like, man, if we can get this guy the ball, we want to get him the ball. But for me, the question still remains, okay, so what is Miami going to do about getting an X receiver or a Z receiver or a big physical perimeter threat who can really be a downhill threat or who can really be a downfield threat?
Zuby, these are your guys, man. You've gotten this as tight with those two as anybody in this class. Your thoughts on the receiver position in general and how these two project in college?
Yeah, I have to say, I love their speed that they bring to Miami, and that's something Ray said he's really excited to bring to Miami. That one cut ability to cut upfield and just, make something out of nothing, and they've proven that throughout the course of the season. I remember watching Robby and Ray play against each other, and Robby, catches a pass in the slot, makes two guys collide with each other, then he's up the sideline for a touchdown. Ray's like Stephen mentioned, kind of using him on special teams as well. He was taking, kickoffs. He's a real dangerous returner. He's real shifty, real nifty guy. He makes a couple guys miss, hits the hole, and he's gone. But we did talk about, the only knock on these two is their size. They're a little bit undersized. I think Ray is about 5'9", but Robby's about 5'10", so that might be their only knock. But I feel like if you work around, scheme around them, I feel like that'll be a big thing. Put them in the right places to make plays, and they'll definitely make those plays that Miami's lacking, those big plays that we did not see very much in Hard Rock Stadium this year.
I'm going to throw some Robby tape up here on the screen. So do you agree with what I said a minute ago? Can he go outside? I mean, I see Ray as a pure slot. but I think Robby might be able to go outside a little bit more so than Ray. Your thoughts on that, Zuby?
Yeah, I can potentially see that happening. I don't think that's the ideal position for Robby being an outside guy, but like I did say, he's a little bit taller than Ray, about a 5'10" type of guy. He's really, really aggressive. That's one thing I like about Robby. Some games you'll see him blocking downfield, laying down big hits to free up his running backs, free up his wide receivers. So he does that, had a little bit more of that physicality that Ray doesn't have. But I do I would say I like Robby inside as a slot more than an outside guy.
No, just that I think Ray in particular is going to be a great leader in the class. And I still don't understand how the prior staff just didn't even recruit him to the point that he committed to Clemson. And I still remember trading texts with him when Miami started pushing for him when Mario took over, and how he would have to take these secret visits to Miami. And he was all worried that Clemson was going to find out, because Clemson's rule is you can't take any visits anywhere, and we'd say, oh, well, I would text him and say, I heard you were at Miami. Is it okay if we report it? And he'd say, no, Clemson. He'd say his words, Clemson's tripping, is what he would tell me. And so he once he flipped to Miami, he really has been all in with the Hurricanes. And it's nice to see finally that the staff is really doing a good job of evaluating and understanding the guys that can help this program get better and be where it needs to be. You didn't see, this is a weird cycle, right? You didn't see a lot of plan B guys. Edwin Joseph was a plan B guy when they thought they were going to lose Damari to Alabama. Now I don't think they're going to lose Damari to Alabama, so it doesn't even really matter. But what they've really done a good job of, and Miami fans can definitely relate to this if you've been following recruiting, and this is the first cycle I can remember where we're going into what's tomorrow, Tuesday, before signing day. And usually we're calling 10 different commits at this point saying, are you solid? How was your visit to FSU last weekend? Is Auburn really in play? There's none of that. Mario Cristobal has gone so all in as a head coach recruiter, which is unheard of at Miami throughout history, including when I started when Butch Davis was the coach. No head coach at Miami has ever been this involved with every single commitment. But what it's done is it's shored them all up. None of them, except for a couple, are wavering. And the couple that are wavering, Reed McKeska, it's not the end of the world if he goes somewhere else. Connor Lew went somewhere else. Miami did want him, obviously, pretty badly, and they're trying to get him back. But 90% of these guys, 95% of these guys have stayed solid. You don't see I think there's been 3 decommitments since Mario came in. Last year it was like 12, or the year before it was like 12. I mean, it's remarkable, not where the class is ranked, but how little wavering there's been. To me, that's the most remarkable part. Everyone would say, oh, they're ranked number 3. This is amazing. The fact that they get guys that are then committed to the program, I don't know if people want to credit Mario Cristobal or credit NIL, but whatever it is, it's something that has not been seen here since I've been covering recruiting since the 1400s. It's